All I offer is the truth, nothing more.
Break the Matrix here, handing out those red pills of truth, one video at a time. How's everybody doing today? Yesterday I did my SpaceX private citizens trip to the moon video, and after I had published it, I'd seen quite a few videos done on this gem that I ran into. I believe this is the original upload. It's by a man named Mike Helmick. I suggest you guys subscribe and like his channel. I'll leave the link in the description. He's very well versed in the technologies of virtual reality and how they manipulate things in 3D space using software. And I want you guys to see this glitch, and he'll explain it much better than I can. But there's a big glitch here that just 100% proof that they're using this software to fake space. So let's take a listen to him really quick, and we'll go from there.
Here is a hall section of the ISS. Also, you need on a separate video layer objects in virtual space that can move around by software, such as the paper on the wall, the netting there on the back, this contraption here on the right wall, and there's some box or something bungee corded above there. Now, all those objects are on a separate virtual layer, so they can be manipulated by software to look as if they are floating around. And of course, our three stooges here who are pretending to be astronauts. These guys are also on a separate video layer. And what makes it even worse, they're not even in the same room together. Thanks to the technology of telemetrics, which can bring people in from all over the place and put them in a virtual reality environment. So what you're about to see, if the camera that contains the virtual reality layer glitches out, or has maybe compression errors, then that layer will also glitch out, and this is exactly what we're going to see now.
We delete you.
Thank you very much again. Thank you for your time. Have a good flight and many more exciting experiments on the orbit. Thanks a lot.
Now, when they said goodbye, I guess the virtual reality camera was cut off. And so the objects that were on the virtual reality layer, the objects that needed to be floated in space by 3D software, vanish out. I want you to notice the hull, the other camera, the stage prop, the hull of the ISS, stays perfectly in focus. If this had been a compression error from the ISS, the whole video would have washed out. But only the virtual reality layer gets washed out here. Also note, you can see the green screen behind the guy right about here. There it is, the green screen right there behind him starts to show, and then they cut to mission control. So this is
Okay. So I guess the best way to put this in layman's terms, if you didn't get what he was referring to, is these four dots here represent these four objects, that are layered in with software to appear that they're floating in a zero-G environment. So you have the netting, this little envelope, this apparatus up here, and this sort of rack that this guy's leaning against. When you're watching the video, you'll see those things floating around. But yet the backdrop, which is the hull, as he said, stays completely intact. So when this glitch happens, only these four things, the things and the astronauts who are supposedly floating because they're in space, glitch out. And as he said, if it was some sort of compression error with the broadcast to the ISS, the whole film would be wiped. It wouldn't just be certain objects. So it's like when you watch it back, you see how the netting's floating, and these two guys are floating around, and this guy's kind of moving. You'll see when the glitch happens, it's only see that? It's only where those four dots were that get wiped out. Everything else is completely intact. And I mean, I don't know how much more proof you need, guys. I mean, I'm gonna get the NASA fanboy fucking tards in here who are going to spout all their crap saying, like, you don't have any proof. They're always asking for proof, but then when you give it to them, they don't believe it. This is 100% proof that they're using software to manipulate their broadcast to make it appear as if they're in the ISS 250 miles from the surface of the Earth and 0G. They're not. They're probably in a studio in Houston, and that's, and he implicates that they might not even be in the same room. I don't know about that. It could be. I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, you got a $40 billion annual budget, guys. This isn't hard for them to pull off. But see, the problem is when you try and deceive people, you're always going to get caught. You're always going to screw up. With the fake shootings, all of it. There's always screw-ups. And this is it. This is the proof in the pudding right here, guys. The entire backdrop is completely intact. Just those items that you saw that were floating, that were layered in using virtual reality software, glitched out. Everything else is still intact. And just to go a little off subject here, if you notice a little more vitriol and thumbs down in my recent videos than normal, seeing that my channel has been out since August, both of my channels, and I rarely get any thumbs downs or any sort of negative comments in the comments section, I did a video on this guy this last week, PK Truth, exposing him as a fraud because the real PK is PK Talks, okay? Not PK Truth. This guy's using the same avatar and pretending to be PK so he can get the subs. I don't know why he's pretending to be PK, but he is. This is the real PK, PK Talks. And when I did the video, there was a lot of, for one, way more dislikes. I mean, 5's not a lot, but it's 5 more than I usually get, or at least 4 more than I usually get. So, and the last video I did on the SpaceX was like 7 dislikes and a lot of vitriol and negative comments in the comment section. So I was like, this is odd. But then I realized, once I started getting threats like from this guy, Hoaxer Popo Sergeant, son, you have 8 hours to remove this video, or you will be struck for violating very serious rules. So I'm guessing this guy has sock puppet accounts, because if you go to it, look at this. This is an obvious sock puppet account to harass people that are trying to expose him. But if you go to his videos at PK Truth, which is not the real PK, and say you want to click on one of his videos, for one, PK is Australian. This guy's American. But you go to the comments, and there's only like 5 comments. For 1,000 views, you should have tons of comments. He deletes all the comments because most of them are talking about how he is a fraud. So he deletes all those comments. He sets them up for approval. But PK Truth PK Talks is the real PK. So I just wanted to point that out because if you see a lot more thumbs down and a bunch of jerk bags talking trash in the comments section, I'll try and weed out and block whoever I can, but it's probably because I exposed that turd. So he's upset. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and this is Break the Matrix. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All I offer is the truth, nothing more.